So if you've been building out automations inside n8n, this is the next shift that you're going to want to pay attention to. So instead of actually wiring together every single step like you're used to inside n8n, agentic workflows are going to let you describe the outcome you're looking for, and then the system's just going to build the whole thing out for you. Now, I know that sounds like hype, but in this video, I'm going to show you, first of all, exactly how this works, and then I'm going to compare it to n8n so you can see the difference between the two, and then we're going to build out an agentic workflow live. Now, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Jono, and I've created 2 7-figure businesses, one of which I sold last year, and I also run a 400-person paid AI automation community. Now, let's talk about the difference between agentic workflows and AI automations. If you're using a low to no code editor like Zapier or like n8n or like make.com, you actually have to go in and build every single step of the workflow. Whereas if you're using an agentic workflow, for example, it's goal driven. So you tell it the outcome and it will literally build the whole thing for you. You don't have to wire anything up. So in other words, this is fundamentally going to change the way that you automate your systems moving forward. It's not just some flashy tool with a brand new user interface that does the exact same thing. Let's just drill down here a bit because there are 4 main differences that are absolutely necessary to know if you're going to be using agentic workflows. The first one is natural language. So let's take n8n for example. What you had to do with a platform like n8n is you had to, first of all, wire up all the nodes. You have to do things like read documents or API integrations, which, let's be honest, takes a disproportionately large amount of time. And then the worst part is that anytime you run into an error, which is pretty much every single time you're building out anything, you have to debug the whole thing. Whereas on the flip side, when you're using an agentic workflow, all you have to do is describe the outcome in natural language, just like you're talking to ChatGPT. So for example, you could say, web scrape 10 results from Google Maps and add that into a Google Sheet, and the system is going to figure out exactly how to build out that whole automation for you. It's going to write the code, it's going to find the API integrations, it's going to do literally everything for you. Now, number 2 is really how you build out workflows in both instances. And I kind of talked a bit about it, but let's just drill a bit further down on this. So if you're using n8n, make.com, or Zapier, it's a bottom-up approach. What I mean by that is you have to start building, and then you test the workflow out. Ultimately, there's almost always going to be issues. You debug it, and you go in that circle, right? You're always building, testing, and then debugging. Whereas with an agentic workflow, it's top down, okay? So you describe the outcome you're looking for, the agent asks you potentially clarifying questions if it needs more information, and then it just builds the whole thing for you. And just like ChatGPT, you can refine the results through a conversation. So if it isn't exactly what you're looking for, which realistically, it's not always going to be 100% perfect the first time you ask it to do something, you can just go back and forth in a conversation like dialogue until you get the results that you're looking for. So really, it's a shift between being a builder versus a designer. And the third difference here, which I think is probably the most important, is the fact that agentic workflows have something called self-healing. Let's compare the two. Inside n8n, anytime a workflow fails, well, you know the drill. You have to unfortunately debug it. Sometimes that could take 24 hours or a week or whatever the case may be. But with an agentic workflow, this is the beautiful thing. The first thing that's going to happen is the system's going to notice a failure. It's going to detect it, and then it's going to automatically fix it, then rerun it to make sure it actually works. And then the most beautiful thing is that it can update the code and the documents and all the information so that it never encounters that same mistake again. So in other words, it actually improves over time and becomes better at the role that you're looking for it to fulfill. And number 4 here is security and control. So in the good old days with something like n8n, you'd actually have to hard code in limitations. So let's say you're scraping some results off of Google and you don't want to pull out 10,000 results because that's going to cost you a lot of money. You'd have to go in there and say, hey, I only want to pull out at a maximum 100. And then also any edge cases that come with that, you'd have to hard code in there as well. And as we all know, anytime you're dealing with edge cases, you only realize about those edge cases when it's too late or when you've already made a mistake. And with agentic workflows, all you have to do is just tell it the constraints that you're working with. So for example, you could say, hey, please don't spend more than $5 on this API. That's the limit, that's the shut off. Or you could say, hey, don't email customers without my approval. All you have to do is tell it what you don't want it to do, and then it will write that information into the code and into the documents. Now, with that out of the way, we're going to be building out our very first agentic workflow together using Antigravity. So what we're going to do is head over to the website antigravity.com and download their app for desktop, and this is going to be completely for free. And what we're doing today is building out this particular workflow in front of us. Now, I've modeled this out in n8n just so it's a bit visual so you can see what's going on here, and we're going to convert this into an agentic workflow using anti-gravity. But in a nutshell, what's going on here is we are using Google Maps to pull out a bunch of listings for Miami plumbers. And the problem with these listings is that they don't actually contain all the information that we need. Like, let's say we want to email these people. Well, unfortunately, there's no email here, so we have to take it a step further and actually web scrape all of their individual websites to pull out things like the email, potentially even the social media handles as well, and then dump that into Google Sheets right here. This is what we're building out in anti-gravity. So inside the tool, the first thing you're going to need to do is log into your Google account right up top here, and we're going to open up a folder. Now with anti-gravity, you need to have a master folder that contains all of your files and folders as well. So what we're going to do is start off by adding that folder. So we'll click open folder, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a folder here called anti-gravity number 473, because that's the number of takes I've had for this video. I'm just kidding when I say that. But essentially this is going to be an empty folder. We're going to open this up. Inside anti-gravity, there's 3 components that we have to pay attention to. First of all, we have the Explorer. This is where all the files and folders live. We got the agent over here. You can think about this like ChatGPT, where it essentially will communicate back and forth with you to build the workflows out. You can think about this like the visual editor right here. Instead of us building out all of these nodes, we're just going to tell the editor right over here, kind of like ChatGPT, what we want it to do, and it's going to build it out for us. And in the center here, this is where we can open up files to see what's actually written here. Now, at first, we're going to load in this instructions manual over here. You can think about anti-gravity like a blank slate, and what we want to do is provide instructions to get the best results possible. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a file, okay, and it's going to be called agents.md, and we're going to drop this in. These are going to be in the blueprints down below for free if you guys want to copy. Now, I'm not going to be going over every single thing in this agents.md file, but let's just go over it at a high level. First of all, MD stands for Markdown. That's why you can see all this particular styling here. And this file does 2 things. Number 1 is we're giving instructions to our agentic workflow to get consistently good results every single time. And then number 2, what we're doing here is we're creating a file structure so that we can host all of our different files and folders. You can think about this very similarly to Google Drive over here. First thing we're going to do once we've gone ahead and downloaded this is we have to save this. We can hit file and save here. The problem is that if you don't save it manually, then technically the file doesn't exist until you save it. And we're going to head over to anti-gravity over here, and we're going to tell it to actually build out this file structure over here. Now we're going to come back to this in a second. So I'm going to say, please read agents.md and build out the scaffold. Okay, and as I'm going to include as many spelling mistakes as humanly possible, but essentially anti-gravity is going to analyze this document right over here. You can actually you can actually see it thinking in real time, and it's going to go to work for us, building out the exact structure that we put right over here. And we can see that it's asking us to accept all the revisions. So the cool thing is that with agentic workflows and anti-gravity, you can kind of think about it like a human in the loop, where it's asking you to confirm all the changes that it's created. So we can see it created this particular folder here or file, and all we have to do is accept all. And we're essentially saying, hey, I accept all the changes that you've made, and you're happy with it. Now that that's out of the way, what we can do is go ahead and give it the first goal that we want the agentic workflow to accomplish. And we can go right back into the agent and paste it in here. So I want you to build out an intelligent lead engine that scrapes Google My Business profiles, pulls out the listing details, and outputs it in text format. Now, remember, this is a top-down approach. So instead of n8n, where we actually have to go in and build out all of these individual nodes, what we can do is we can start with the goal in mind and tell it what we want, and then watch the agentic workflow build it out from the ground up for us. So I'm going to go ahead and send this off, and we can see that it starts generating all of the information on the side here. Now, a couple important things here. If you guys remember, we had all of these directories that we are creating over here. So let's quickly go over this one by one. First of all, we have this directives folder. And what you can think about the directives folder is essentially the instructions on how we're going to go ahead and accomplish a task. So it's gone ahead and created a task here, which is GMB, or Google My Business lead generation. And it's essentially telling itself how it wants to accomplish this goal. So it's going to scrape Google My Business profiles for a specific query, like photographers in Toronto, and extract the listing details, okay? So it's telling it what to do. And then the execution folder, it's creating the code in a Python script to actually go ahead and scrape those listings off of Google My Business. It's going to pull out things like name here and address and phone and website and rating and so on and so forth. So the directives are the instructions and the execution is the code to actually go ahead and do the thing we want it to do. Now we're going to go ahead and accept all the changes here. And essentially we're saying, hey, this looks good to me. I'm happy with everything that you've built out. And with that being said, we can go ahead and test out this agentic workflow by asking it to please. And I say please there because I'm Canadian and I feel generally awkward if I didn't say please or thank you to an AI. But please pull out 10 photographers in Toronto from Google Maps. We'll send it off and now it's going to go to work for us and actually pull those listings from Google Maps. I'm just going to allow in this conversation for it to access a particular file over here and give it the permissions that it needs to get the job done. But let's talk about what's happening behind the scenes over here. First of all, what's going on is it's going to search the directive soul to understand out of all the tasks that are currently available for it to potentially do. And by the way, there's just one here and we could add on or stack multiple tasks on here. Right now it's just one. It's going to locate the task it actually needs to do. And it's going to understand what goes into it. And then it's going to head down to the execution section here and find the corresponding code to execute the particular task. You don't need to know any of this Python. I don't know how to code myself. All you need to do is be able to communicate back and forth with the agent over here. And that's the extent of what you need to do. Once it's gone ahead and scraped the results from Google, okay, it's going to pull these results out and then it's going to list this in the temp folder, which stands for temporary. And these are where all the leads or all of the runs actually exist. So we can see all of the photography companies that it's been able to pull out from Google My Business listings. And that's the first step of this. Of course, what we could do is take it a step further and request more information. And we could also add this straight into Google Sheets. And I'm going to link to a video explaining exactly how we could walk through the next steps of integrating this into external tools like Google Sheets. Just take a look at this video over here if you're interested in actually building out this full work. Now, once you've gone ahead and built out your agentic workflow, that is currently located on your computer, right? And anytime your computer cuts, the internet dies, or whatever the case is, you're not going to be able to run that workflow. So if you want it to be production ready so that you can depend on it for your business, you're going to have to upload it to the cloud. You can choose a platform like Modal, for example. That allows you to schedule automations, fire them off from webhooks, and so on. So if you've been watching my channel for the better half of a year, you'll know that I've talked extensively about n8n, and even before that, I talked about make.com. And you might be wondering, with all of these new tools coming out, what does that actually mean to you if you've invested a ton of time into learning things like n8n or make.com? Well, first of all, I'll start off by saying that the skills you've learned have not become obsolete whatsoever. You can think about this like an additional layer on top of the base that you already have. So instead of wiring together all of these steps like you're traditionally doing in tools like n8n, now you're defining outcomes in an agentic workflow to get similar results. And the coolest part is, of course, is that people that already understand the basics of n8n or make.com are going to be the ones that adapt and learn the quickest. And as we move forward into the future, I will be talking a lot more about these IDEs like Cloud Code or like Anti-Gravity on my YouTube channel, because I genuinely think this is the future of where automation is heading. And if you guys are ready to get started and build out your very first sexy, beautiful, amazing, wonderful, awesome, okay, I think I'm out of words here, but take a look at this video over here, because we're going to be walking through the very first agentic workflow that you could build out inside Anti-Gravity completely for free. And also, if you guys are looking to take automation, agentic workflows to the next level, I'd highly recommend subscribing to my channel down below, making sure to hit the thumbs up button if you found value in this video, and taking a look at my school community where there are two transformations. Number one is for those of you looking to sell AI automation and agentic workflows to customers. I'll help you find, close, and fulfill your first deal within 30 days or less so that you can rinse and repeat and be able to build a business off of that. And if you have an existing business, I'll show you how you can automate up to 80% of that business in 60 days or less, giving you the exact blueprints that allowed me to, first of all, scale to 7 figures, automate up to 80% of my business. And all you have to do is copy, paste, and deploy the blueprints, and they're pretty much good to go. So thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.